Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sree. Iyer. Joining me is General Shankar today. We're going to talk about a new situation that is happening in and around Iran. Namaskar, sir. How are you?
Namaskar, I'm fine. Chala bagunnanu.
Good to know that, sir. Viewers, General Shankar is giving us a hint, and I'm going to say yes. And just stay tuned. You'll understand this in a few weeks. General Shankar, I'll just set the stage here. What happened in Venezuela was there were some things from China and Russia, but they used this new weapon called discombobulator. To get it right itself, it takes me a little bit of effort. So that basically, jammed everything and gave a clear sight to go in and extract Maduro and his wife and come out. Now, in Iran isn't quite as simple as this because I guess Tehran is right in the middle of the country. You got to go in a little bit, and that's one side. After that, also there are other things. Iran is a lot more evolved. It has been expecting something like this, probably more prepared. And now we are hearing that there are battleships from from Russia and China that are coming into this area, like States of Hormuz or Arabian Sea, and so on and so forth. Now, what people are saying is that there's a narrow window of opportunity for the United States and Israel if they want to move in on Iran. And I don't know how long that window is, but once that window closes, they say it's practically impossible for US to do what it intends to do. Again, this is all intent, nobody knows. US could do a simple extraction like the way they did with Maduro and his wife, and life is going on as normal. And so what exactly changed in Venezuela? Only Trump administration can explain. You and I guess we are just watching what's happening. So similarly, in this case, what's going to happen in your opinion, sir? And before I hand the floor to you, a request to all of you. We're coming live on channel 2 and on Ganeshar. Request to all of you to like this video, and wherever you are following, please subscribe to that channel. Over to you, sir.
Look, at the outset, there's a big difference between Venezuela and Iran. It's not a matter of extraction. I think Iran, if it is required to be done, extraction of, that guy, in Iran can be done, Khamenei, or regime change that way can be done. After all, they have Israel. Israel has got still assets on ground there, right? Or elimination of Khamenei. Why should you extract him? What will you do with him if you extract him? It's better to eliminate him. I mean, these are the options which US would be thinking. Or force him to flee. Force him to flee, he's not fleeing anyway. So, why can't that be done? That can't be done only for one simple reason. In Venezuela, USA had two options. They could go with Delcy Rodriguez and they could go with Mercado. Here, there's no option. And whatever option they choose, there is that thing. Here, there's no option. There's no second one. The Shah, or the dynasty who's sitting in USA, he is not fit, and even Trump has said he can't do anything here. And there's no alternative to Khamenei at this point of time. You see, the remarkable thing, what's happened in Iran is that regime has not cracked. And despite the brutality of their approach to their own citizens, they have not cracked. So there's a lot of depth which is there. I also felt in the beginning of the last month, that there's a revolution on and it will topple, but it has not happened. And remarkably, the economy has also not pulled out of where it was. So is this a new normal in Iran? Probable. But let's get to so Iran is not going. I mean, let me finish that line of thought. Iran is not going to fall so easily. One. Number two, is Iran getting adequate support from Russia or China? No. That's very clear. And why is it clear? We have to understand that. Why is it that Russia can't? Let's take Russia. Why is it Russia can't support Iran? Russia can't support Iran because Russia itself is under pressure. It's got a war going on. Ukraine war, right? Things are happening to and fro. Then the case of their oil, you see, their oil exports were through the dark shipping, and that dark shipping is getting caught. That's being intercepted. It's it's easy to say it's only one or two ships, but one or two ships, put a choke on that oil thing. Plus, uh, India is now switching to, I won't say switching, is de-risking from Russia. See, uh, there's something which I spoke yesterday evening, and people, I'm connecting the dots here now again. We've got two oil wells in Venezuela, ours, OVL and ONGC. So what's the new deal with Trump? Trump says, please take them over and come out because Trump needs us there. You see, uh, in Venezuela, except Chevron, which was already there, but not in the Orinoco Belt, in some other bay, no other American company was there. Okay, and the Orinoco Belt was completely closed, almost. There was no nothing coming out of there. The Chinese were not interested in operating anything. Chinese want uh, oil, nothing else. Wanted oil, and right. Uh, in that, we were operating two wells. It's a place called San Cristobal, and one more. I'm forgetting the names. And we were getting 3 lakh barrels of oil per day from there. And our IOC has got a refinery which is suited for that heavy crude of Venezuela. And we had $500 million stuck there, half a billion, right? And Trump says you come and take it from there. So if you are going to take it from there, naturally that's your oil. You will get it at the best rates. I mean, it's negotiable. And given the fact that not many people know, Delphi Rodriguez is a Bhakt of Puttaparthi Sai Baba. She comes annually there. I don't know if you know this.
I didn't know
And
that,
many,
sir. What a
yeah,
surprise.
yeah. And if you see the tweet of Delphi Rodriguez recently, she talks of divine divinity and devotion and brotherliness with Narendra Modi and in India. So there's a connect. I mean, many of us think, in what shall I say, a singular manner in one lane. You have to think, geopolitics has got a lot of layers. So we have that connect, and if you have that connect, and USA is wants you there, because if you go there, that oil will start flowing out of Venezuela. Okay, the government is willing, local government is willing, US government is willing. You want, because it's your asset, you're going to open that up. Why should you go to Russia? I mean, geopolitics, it's interest, my interest. My interest is where I have put my money already. So if that opens, your dependence on Russia should also come down. You're also de-risking. It's not being against Russia, but that's a natural thing. So I'll get back to Russia. If all this is happening and Russia is tight on oil, right? Uh, then can it help Iran? Yeah, your question.
Sir, in general, what I've noticed, because I've traveled in Central America and South America, General Ravi Shankar, in general, there is a mindset that is very close to being Sanatani. I'll give you a personal life example, sir. In Mexico, if you go down south towards Central America, there's a port called Puerto Vallarta, and it's along the west coast, and it's a very glitzy place. And so I was going on a cruise. The cruise ship lands there, and then you dock, and then you go in and do things. So one of the day trips was to go to the interior to visit a Mexican village. So it's like 9:15, 9:30 in the morning. We go there, and there's a village square, and people are selling, things like, trinkets, chains, necklaces, and things like that. So we made a purchase with one lady, and we paid for it. And after she took the money, then she took small trinket and she gave it to us. And my wife is saying, no, but I did not pay for it. I don't want it. No, you are my first customer. So this is a concept of boni. I don't know if you've heard this.
Boni. Yeah. Boni is common. You go anywhere in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and all, boni, and it's a common word also. Yeah. I
Yes,
agree.
yes, very true, very true.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
how did this happen? I mean, we are halfway across the world, and the mindset is exactly the same.
yeah,
So
yeah.
these are all incredible, hard to explain
No,
how
I
this
want you to
happened.
put this. No, no, I want you to put this on this one little thing. A slide I've shown, just to
Yeah,
prove
yeah,
my
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This is a tweet by Delcy Rodriguez. Okay, and this you look at it. She says what? Conversation telefonica. Okay, and look at what she's written. I had a fraternal telephone conversation with the Prime Minister of Republic of
Brotherly.
India, Mr.
Yeah.
Narendra Modi, in a dialogue of deep human and spiritual connection. That human and spiritual connection comes from Sai Baba, in which we agreed to deepen and expand our bilateral partnership. I thank the supportive support of the government of and people of India to our country. The Prime Minister Modi reiterated his willingness to accompany the Venezuelan people in defending their peace, sovereignty, and independence. We address strategic concern, blah 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 blah. Please take it off. You see, this is the point which I was trying to put across to all thing, right? That look, we have a connect. We don't understand many times what the kind of um, strength we have. Anyway, we'll get back to Iran and Russia. So Russia is now getting hamstrung. It really can't help Iran. Now look at China. Logically, China should help because China and Iran have a long-term strategic pact which kicked in 2024, and that pact was supposed to be about $500 billion. Yeah, all that. But what has China done to help Iran? Go back 6 months, midnight hammer time. Israel Iran war. Israel was firing at Iran, Iran was firing at Israel. A lot of things happened. Where was China? Did China help Iran? No, Iran just got hammered, and it did what it could. Right? Their nuclear sites got hammered, everything. And to say that their nuclear capability is still the same is being naive. So, in all this, it's very clear that the Chinese didn't help them. That, in fact, Chinese didn't help anyone so far. They've only been helping themselves. What are they doing now? People say that 20 planes from China landed into Iran, Y-20s. That's their transport aircraft with military equipment and all. Can 20 plane loads or 30 plane loads, even 100 plane loads, strengthen Iran to the point that it can take on the American carrier fleet there with the rest of the things? No. Let's be very clear. And what is China doing at this point of time? Very little. Can China do anything now? Very little. Because China itself, if you see, in fact, today morning, one of the things which I wanted to talk of was what's happening inside China between Zhang Yuxia and Xi Jinping. You know, there's no doubt there is that matter is not settled. But suddenly you find articles coming out in China, two articles per day in PLA daily against Zhang Yuxia. There's something seriously wrong there. If your house is burning, how can you go and help someone else's house? That house is also burning, your house is burning, your house is burning different, that house is burning different. So how will so I don't know whether China will be able to come, or it will take the risk of coming out, because for China to help Iran out today is a risk, and I must explain why. Let's assume that China sends part of its navy here, okay, and it does something with Iran, and there's a firefight which goes out of control. See, war is all about risk. Huh? War is not taking the best case scenarios and doing things. War is all about the worst case scenario. What do you do with the worst case scenario? If you go back into our own history, mm, you know, why did Arjun's son, he went into the Chakravyuh, he couldn't come back. He knew how to go in, he couldn't come out. right? So same thing here. China might go into this whole story with 3, 4 ships. How will it come out, right? If it if there's a firefight and one Chinese ship goes down, that's the end of Xi Jinping, because there's problem at home, there's a reversal outside, and a Chinese ship going down will have a huge impact. And China doesn't have the strength to, flex its muscles the way USA has been flexing. In fact, we've been flexing far more than them. Okay. So as a result, I don't know whether China will come and help Iran out. I agree. Sometime last month, uh, China, Iran, Russia, and South Africa did a naval exercise off the coast of South Africa, and they were calling it the BRICS, exercise. Till India said this is not a BRICS exercise, we are not part of it, and BRICS is not meant for naval exercises. We put a foot down on it because we want to maintain our own character. We don't want to convert BRICS into a military mechanism. We're very clear about it. Okay, so they couldn't. I mean that, but the fact is these people have done it there. Now, what's the current situation? In the situation which is there, Iran has said we will carry out an exercise, and they've invited China and Russia into it. So far, neither China nor Russia have responded. So far, they've not responded. Okay, uh, so I don't know whether these guys will come and do something in the Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, and try to block it and all. And it is not in China's interest to block the Strait of Hormuz. If the Strait of Hormuz is blocked, China loses 30 to 40% of its oil inflow. It is like shooting yourself not in your leg, in your head. So I don't know whether China will come here also. And if, see, the another thing, if tomorrow the matter gets escalated and Trump has the capability, this thing which is coming out in some social media, there'll be a human shield by Russia and China against with Iran to prevent Trump from doing what he's doing. All this nonsense is coming. All ships will be there, so USA can't fire. But what if USA closes Iran oil? What if USA closes the Gulf oil? You see, one has to think. If you're going to do all that, USA says, okay, you sit here, I'll also sit here, I don't let oil go out. Who will get hit? One has to think. China. So will China ever participate in such a exercise, which is not to its benefit? If it does, it will be very naive on all our parts to even think so. So far, on that exercise which Iran has spoken of, there are news that China might participate, Russia might, but both have not agreed to it, nor have they spoken about it. Yeah, they're looking at mid-February. Mid-February is another 10-15 days. The way I look at it, Iran must be, looking at that Ramadan period before, that starts. So that then in that 1 month it gets time to recoup, because at that time, even Trump won't go into Iran. So that's the way it is. Now the thing is Trump working on a window? Does Trump have a window? I want to ask you that question, Shreya. What is your view on the fact that whether Trump has a window in which to operate? Because based on your thing, and I'll come out with, we'll see what it is. Yeah.
So you hit the nail on the head when you said that United States does not see a alternative leader taking the stage in Iran. What US wants to do, in my opinion, sir, is to take away that free or near free oil supply from Iran to China. They want to cut that. They want to re-establish petrodollar. First step, see again, this is my concept, right? I mean, it could be right or wrong.
Yeah, fine.
Western Hemisphere, Venezuela was the biggest producer. That's under control. Next, Iran, because both these people were supplying up to 25% of China's requirements. And if you choke China with oil, then what does China do? China can't really invest into its AI technology because it is believed that now they're putting up liquefied natural gas electricity generator plants. That's close to 56 gigawatts now, but that's the one that they see growing faster because the coal-fired plants have polluted it so much that people are near choking. I mean, Beijing is worse than Delhi sometimes. They went and watched the clouds when Beijing Olympics were happening because that was the kind of pollution that was there. So if you choke off AI capabilities for China, so this is a big grand plot is to deny China easy access to oil. And Iran was giving them easy access. I think you and I discussed about this in a previous talk, but $10 to $15 per barrel. Where is $60 per barrel market price, and where these guys are getting $10 to $15 a barrel? That will be closed. Second thing, it will also hurt Afghanistan and Pakistan economy because see, Iranians get at 5% the price of market for petrol. 5%. I've done the calculation. So 5% means if, let's say Indian parlance, right? If you're paying 100 rupees per liter, inside Iran, Iranians are getting it at 5 rupees per liter. And how much is the price of 1 liter of petrol in Pakistan? 200, 300 rupees. Huge difference. And people just, go and pump it up into their jerry cans. The jerry cans, right? It's almost rectangle with a angle so that you can pour easily out of it. And load them up in Toyota pickup trucks. There's one crossing point, and then it comes into Pakistan and Afghanistan. And every step of the way, people take money. Like why that Fazlur Rahman is called Maulana Diesel. That's Maulana the reason, Diesel. Because he collects his commission on that. So all these things will be stopped by United States. And they will say, okay, now we deal with only with dollars in petrol. By the way, today morning, viewers, I put out a story about what is the currency by which Russia and China are trading. In 2004, 95% was United States dollar. Today, it is 95% a mix of yuan and ruble, with yuan being at 82% and ruble only 13%. So basically, yuan, I mean, China is calling the shots in Russia, sir. I mean, if you look at why is Russia pay in yuan for their oil, So there's a lot of things at play that we can't really see until you go and dig for data. You get all these things. So it's a complex piece. I completely agree with you. I think US wants to have that one thing, denial of cheap oil to China. And then they'll start putting the squeeze on Russia also. There's no doubt in my mind that the next one to put the squeeze on will be on Russia. So China has to pay market prices, and they will be forced to. And once that happens with dwindling exports, China will be really, really in a lot of hurt. Forget about who comes back to power. We are hearing that what is happening to Emperor Xi today is what happened to the last emperor. I don't know if you saw that movie, sir, award-winning movie, The Last Emperor. He's confined to the palace. You can't come out. And everything else has been taken over by the nationalists. So something like that is what I'm hearing today, viewers, that he's encircled in a small area within Beijing. Everything else is being controlled by Zhang Yuzia or people loyal to Zhang Yuzia. People say he's not been killed. He's there somewhere. No, we don't know. This is China, opaque, completely opaque. So it'll come out. It's just after a matter of time. So point is that you are right. Both Russia and China are not in a position to help. But look at the counter side. China is on the verge of losing 20% of cheap oil now. 5% is gone, the Venezuelan oil, because Trump said you pay market prices, you can and pay in dollars, you will get that Venezuelan crude. Then Iran's crude is gone. This is where I feel that China might be forced to do something. I don't know what that something is. You are the man on the ground, sir. You have fought many a battle in your mind and on the ground. Maybe you can expand on that one single point.
Look, I don't think China has any cards to play in this. I'll tell you why. Yesterday evening only I did a show, uh, and mine was you know the heading was China's aggression, or rather U.S. aggression, China's eclipse, and India's gain. I would suggest all of you to watch that yesterday, right? So I say U.S. aggression, China's eclipse, India's gain. I'll repeat part of it. See what's happening. Why is when I say U.S. aggression, U.S. is aggressive in Iran. That's one part place. It's been very aggressive in Latin America over the past 1 year. It- Venezuela, which was the base for China and Russia, has gone. Okay, the Panama Canal ruling has given mayors the control of the Panama Canal ports, Cristobal and Balboa, which were earlier with the Chinese company CK Hutchison. So that's gone. Chinese control over Panama Canal is gone. Colombia, which is a communist country, has made peace with Trump. There also you're gone. Chinese feel threatened in Peru, Chanque port, which they spent nearly $1 billion to build. So China has been eclipsed from Latin America. Cuba, the last bastion of communism there. If that falls, many other dominoes will fall in South America. Remember, China has already lost Argentina. Javier Milei. He's completely right, and he's all in all gone the capitalist way, and he's doing well. So you see, China is getting eclipsed in that part of the world. China is not, yeah, Last Emperor starring Chow Yun Fat. Yes, China getting China's got run out of the Middle East. It didn't happen now. It happened 6 months back. There are no cards with China to play at this point of time. And with China, like you rightly said, with Xi Jinping battling, it's a big battle between Zhang Yuxia and Xi Jinping. It's not between Zhang Yuxia and Xi Jinping. It's between what is yet to come and Xi Jinping. Because Zhang Yuxia doesn't want power. If one reads the whole thing, he says I don't want to be in power. I'll be happy to be head of Central Military Commission. But Xi Jinping should go. That's his story. If he goes, there's a tectonic shift in China. Remember, like Kamanai doesn't have a successor, there also there's no succession. And there's no designated guy, there is no party, there's no nothing. You see, the problem of autocratic regime. If one guy collapsed, the rest of the guys collapse. Just go back to the time of Mao. When Mao died, the Gang of Four came and this and that. For about 5-6 years, China was in chaos. Till Deng Xiaoping came and started getting power. Deng Xiaoping's grip of China happened after about 4-5 years. It didn't happen immediately. Somewhere in the mid 80s, it happened. Mao, I mean, it is a decade. So I see China going there. At this point of time, I see China is in that same position of what it was in the mid 80s, mid 90s. Right? There's a huge power struggle. And I don't think for the next 10 years you're going to see China projecting out. Yeah, there'll be a lot of info ops. A lot of info ops will continue. And if Xi Jinping is there, it will continue in a big way. We don't know who the next guy is to come and what will happen. So I don't know. I don't see a logic of China trying to interfere in this. China's best bet at this point of time is to somehow delay Trump's decision making system. It has to do something to ensure that Trump doesn't take a decision which is detrimental to China. And like I said, Trump is very aggressive. Okay. And where he finds weakness, he gets in. That's his nature. So I don't know. And also, today morning also, I read up before coming here. There is a deal happening in Greenland, which I explained earlier also. And I'll repeat it. Yesterday evening, this was my show, but I'll repeat it at the cost of repetition and for the wider audience, because there'll be many more people on P Gurus who will be listening to this. See what's happened in Panama Canal. The CK Hutchison, which is the Hong Kong based Lakashing group, they've been said no. Temporarily, the whole story has been into Maersk. Who is Maersk? Maersk is a Denmark company. What is Denmark connected to? Greenland. And there's a deal on. Trump is doing a deal. Please understand. Tomorrow, when and this in business with Lakashing Group and CK Hutchison is not going to happen because they have to sell the port off. They were doing a deal with BlackRock, and that deal is not going to go through in a hurry. China has no leg in it, right? It's all about money. You have to follow the money, right? So that deal won't go through. Till that deal won't go through, it will be Maersk who will be in charge of that. And eventually you will see this going to Maersk. If Maersk takes over Panama Canal, it suits Trump. It suits Denmark. It suits that Mette, whoever that lady is. I'm forgetting her second name. The Prime Minister.
Maria Mercado?
Denmark. No. Mette Frederiksen.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Denmark. I've gone to Denmark now. Yeah. Okay. And it suits. So they get control here. They'll lose some control in Greenland. Be happy. So that's a Trump deal. In all this, what's happening? China is getting hit. It's getting hit. People don't understand this. Yeah, please.
Sir, in Telugu, it's called Daniki Diniki Saraypoindi.
I agree with you. దానికి దీనికి ఇంకోటేదో ఉంది మనకు తెలియంది, అది సరి అయిపోయింది. There is some more in this whole story. Okay, so you see Greenland, I presume it's a matter of time there'll be a deal in Greenland, and that deal today sounds to me the easiest, and the moment he gets that deal, he's going to, Trump being Trump, he'll blow it up for his midterms. See, the focus is midterms. Okay, this is my view. I'd like your view on this. See, there are 4 problems today in the world as far as Trump is concerned, which is handling live. Panama, Venezuela. You come to Greenland. Third is Gaza, and fourth is Iran. Active, Panama, Venezuela in his pocket. Which means, and if Cuba goes, then you're looking at a whole lot of internal dynamic in USA turning to Trump. You'll agree with me. Okay?
Very true, sir. Very true. Very true.
Right?
Cuba has been under a communist regime for a long time. And they're essentially a capitalist mindset. And
no, it's not only that. There's a whole lot of people in USA, in the southern USA, who are from that origin. They will be very happy with what's happening.
Very true. Very true. Very true.
Okay, so we're looking at primaries, you're looking at politics, you're looking at votes, you're looking at money. He gets the money, he's got the votes. What more does he want? Why should he use bullets? Look at Greenland, something happens, right? And whatever the deal comes through, he projects to everyone that security of America, this, that, all that, it will come through. He's already started something with Alberta and Canada to get Canada back into the track. So you look, this hand is being played at multiple levels. Right. Gaza, there's a board of peace. He can, he'll get 2-3 more people to join in, and something will go. As far as Gaza is concerned, Gaza is under control. UAE is also coming in, incidentally.
I was going to say that. Yes.
To Gaza. Today, the news is UAE says, I'll control Gaza. And Israel is okay with it, which is a much better way. And if that happens, and Trump takes UAE into his, fold, okay. Look, Trump is playing for himself there. So he is okay. I see that happening in the next 2 months. Gaza won't run away. Problems in Gaza won't run away, but they'll go under control. He's looking at control. And then comes this jigsaw puzzle of Iran. At this point of time, I don't know which side Iran will go. I'll be very honest with you. But look at it from Trump's point of view. Is Trump interested in regime change? He's not interested. What is Trump's interest? Trump's interests are twofold, which I've been talking of right from beginning. One, Iran shouldn't be nuclear. Two, control of petrodollar, which you mentioned. If these two he achieves, how is he bothered who's in power in Iran? He's not bothered. Just like what's happened in Venezuela, let it happen in here also. You see the Venezuelan model, and this model is not new. They've tried it in Afghanistan also. When they quit Afghanistan, this is the American model. When they quit Afghanistan, they bribed Taliban enough to say, "Yeah, you don't be a problem to me. I will feed you." How is Taliban government, surviving without money? And it's American money. I have no doubt about it.
50,
it's some
70
kind of a
million
ransom.
per week or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that money is for what? A guarantee that you don't do anything against me. And some verifiable things are happening, and all that. Same thing, he'll do a deal with whoever is there in Iran. What's his problem? I mean, I want your views on this. Will the Afghan model and the Venezuelan model, can it be adopted to Iran?
Absolutely, sir. Before we go to Iran, I want to just compliment a little bit more data on what you mentioned about the role of United Arab Emirates and Trump administration. Viewers, you all remember that company, WLF, World Liberty Financial,
Yes.
crypto company that signed a deal with Pakistan? When they started that, I think within a month of Trump coming to power, timeline might be a little bit here or there. It could be that as soon as he won the election also, there is 2.5 month gap. Don't worry about that. But UAE is a huge investor in WLF, huge, close to 49%, if I remember correctly. In fact, for a while, WLF finance was only coming from the money that UAE had put in. So they know how to keep the Trump family happy. They know how to keep Jared Kushner happy. And Kushner happy means Kushner's wife is happy. See, there are 3 possible candidates to succeed Trump in a dynastic succession: Donald Trump, Eric Trump, and Ivanka Trump. Ivanka Trump or Jared Kushner, which one of those two. And in every one of these things, you will see that not only the husband, but even the wife or the significant other tried to play in the politics. Like, for example, Eric Trump's wife is the chairman of the Republican National Convention. She was the chairman when Trump came back to power in 2024. So she will say, look, I got you elected as president. I need my thing. She runs a YouTube channel just like me and General Shankar. Very, fairly good. She's good, by the way. Viewers, you should watch all these things. Lara Trump, I think her name is. And so each one has their own, ambitions to step into the shoes of their father. So that's one side. UAE is big into that. Second, in terms of what's going to happen in Iran, right? Do you know, viewers, that Israel was among the first countries to recognize the Republic of Iran? Why? Because close to 20 to 25% of the population in Tehran, not entire Iran, was Jewish. They were all driven out. In fact, in the Middle East, just about every country drove out every Jew from there, and everybody was absorbed into Israel. That's what makes Israel like we are the last stand here. Nobody, we know what it is to live outside. We'll rather die here and defend our country. There's a big thing. Yours need to don't look at just what happened here, there. Look at the largeness of the whole thing since 1948. So Iran, there's another possibility, sir. Iran could be balkanized also, General Shankar. Why I say that is look at Kurdistan, right? In Kurdistan, it has 3 parts: the Turkish Kurd, Iraqi Kurd, and Iranian Kurd. And they want to separate Kurdistan. It's possible Iraq and Iran, maybe, they could club that and say, okay, this is the Republic of Kurdistan. You will get Turkish part in a matter of time. Because once that goes away, suddenly what is remaining in Iran is much more Persian. So there are possibilities. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
It's not going to happen for one reason. It's that will put the entire area into turmoil which no one can handle.
But has Syria settled, sir? Just let me ask you: has Syria settled?
No, no, that's the point.
Yeah.
A small country like Syria is not yet settled. You've done a regime change, you this thing and all that. It's not settled. Okay. Now you break up Iran. Already Iraq is in a problem, and then Syria is unsettled. You think this will come out easily? Do you think this will have um, easy repercussions? The repercussions will be huge, tectonic. I don't think Trump has the capability to handle this. I don't think anyone has the capability of handling this. It's nice to say you have a lot of money. It's nice to say you have a lot of power and all that. We should, you know, a lot of people say what you say. There are a lot of theories which say Kurdistan, Turkish Kurdistan, Syrian Kurdistan, Iraqi Kurdistan, and Iranian Kurdistan, and make Kurdish thing. It has got its own problems. How do you control it? There are people, who have said there's a map which says half of Afghanistan will go to Iran. Some this thing, which General Rajiv Narayanan keeps quoting and saying, "No, it's the American thing." Look, that all that is fine. They could have thought all this during the Second World War, when colonialism was uh, had the levers to do so. They can do it during the colonial times. Now you can't do all that. Let's be very clear. We can't do it. Iraq, they're not able to control. That chap Nurul Maliki has come back and Trump is in flames. And he's come back. Okay. So there are many forces which are acting, and these are civilizational forces. Hard, when I say civilization, they're deep rooted. They're deep rooted biases, they're deep rooted thinking. And no one is supporting Kurdistan. See, the status of Kurdistan is something similar to what is happening in Balochistan. Balochistan is in flames today. We all know that. It's blowing up in the face of Pakistan, but Balochistan on its own can't survive. It can't get to that point. It doesn't have that critical mass to make itself a separate state. Similarly, the areas of Kurdistan or where Kurds live can't coalesce into a single entity. For that, you need a tectonic shift. That tectonic shift is not happening. See, another thing, we all think that Iran is full of people who don't like the current regime. I agree, but Iran has equal number of people who like the current regime. Otherwise, that regime won't survive, isn't it? No regime survives without the will of the people. If the will of the people was so strong, by now there would have been great changes into Iran. I agree that Iran has got a lot of dissent, maybe 50%, but the other 50% are there who are against, who are with the regime, and they control every aspect of the government. They get all the contracts, everything. If you go into it, the IRGC is got its hand in everything. So, and the IRGC, in a manner, they use the mullahs to control everything. So it's a combination which is not broken, and that can break. It has to break internally. Are the divisions internally strong enough or wide enough to break the system? I don't know. So far, they have not broken. I mean, that's what one can see as evidence. Can they break? That's what I think Mr. Trump and Marco Rubio are hoping. But they don't seem to be breaking. They don't seem to be breaking. It's not so simple. So let us see how things happen. Let's see how they pan out. It's of interest to us. It's of great interest to us because what do I want? Let's look at it. What is my interest? What is my interest? My interests are twofold. In fact, maybe threefold. My interest is I want oil from Iran because it's close and it gives me energy
It's
security.
sweet, and our
Second,
refineries can handle it. Yeah.
handle it, right? The second interest of mine is I want Chabahar back. With Chabahar back, I open a route to Afghanistan. And Afghanistan today is uh, better disposed to me. And three, I need this INSTC going, International North-South Transit Corridor, and if it goes through, earlier it was to go through Bandarabas, if it goes through Chabahar, Bandarabas, two routes, and it will go through. Can it go through today? All this is in the negative. Today, our score sheet in Iran is completely negative. Zero. Okay. Chabahar is about to close, INSTC is a far dream, and we are not getting Iranian oil. But what we have in Iran is goodwill. Even the mullah regime is good to us, the others will also good to us. So it doesn't matter who comes to power in Iran. If there's a change in structure, it doesn't matter. That's the first thing. Second, but we need a change of structure. That change of structure, if China has its way, will not allow it to happen. Because China is getting cheap oil. Why will it let go? $20 to $30 of each barrel is very cheap. So why will it let go? Russia has interest in Iran so that it doesn't lose, its power. So it will not let Iran go. So both these people don't want they don't want a change in Iran. So in this case, if whatever happens in dispensation in Iran changes, it helps us. If, say, theoretically or hypothetically, if tomorrow Trump, and manages to put a new regime or does a deal, Iran deal, I'm not a regime, a deal. In that deal, oil comes into the market at market rates, and there's a nuclear deal with which Trump is happy. Iran is back in business. If Iran is back in business, it's good for us. You get Chabar back, you get oil back, everything back. So I think we have to be very clear what our interests are. Why should we bother about whether Kurdistan is made or not? If Kurdistan is made, is it in our interest? It's not. Because this whole region will be in problem, and if the whole region in problem, we will be affected. Oil, fundamentally oil, right? So that's the way I look at it. I mean, if I look at it from my interest and viewpoint, now your views, and maybe after that we can take a few questions, unless you have something else to talk of.
No, I agree. I see your viewpoint, General Shankar. It's just that US has invested a lot into Kurdistan. The concept of Kurdistan, they've invested a lot. Think about what happened when ISIS was running Kurdistan. They were taking the oil from Mosul, and it was being smuggled out into the Mediterranean, and there was a huge cut being taken by the Erdogan family. And this is where first they had these shadow ships, because what they would do is they would load it on these ships, then they would turn the transponder off. So people wouldn't know where this tanker was. And after half an hour, 1 hour, the transponder will come back on and start transmitting, and they'll say some problem here and there. What they used to do in that 1 hour period when transponder was not responding, they would have barges that would come to the ship. They would take all the oil out, put it on these barges, and these barges will go off and start selling. This is the black oil market that used to be there. And then US, you remember that guy, al-Baghdadi? That whole idea was to try and get rid of ISIS from Mosul. ISIS also had committed a lot of other atrocities, like Yazidis, for example. So there is some investment, sir. We'll wait and see. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there is some investment there. Let's wait and see. And let's take some questions now, sir, if you don't mind.
Please.
First question, Rakadus. Oh, this is Raka, my good friend Raka Sudhakar. What's the probability of Israel using nuclear weapons against Iran? Maybe not. Okay.
Out of question. Yeah. Out of question. It's the last thing Israel wants to do. Look, we have to remember Israel also still has a problem with Gaza, right? Next door. So Israel is happy with letting US take the lead in Iran at this point of time. Yeah.
Next question, sir. Ram Krishnan wants to know, good morning and all viewers, what is the reason for so much turbulence all over the world? Is it India's rise? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, I am coming back with it over the past 3 days because I heard it from someone. There's an astrologer who says that look, Jupiter is closest to the Earth at this point of time. And when
Yeah.
Jupiter is very close to the Earth, a lot of things happen at great speed. Right, the tempo and pace of events, hasten up. Uh, I don't know whether it's right or wrong. And he says this happens. I don't know when frequency of when Jupiter is so close to Earth and all that. So, but I like the concept that the tempo and pace of events going very fast. He's ascribed it to Jupiter. So maybe we have to look at Jupiter rather than India's rise. Yeah,
Sir, a seer already predicted how hard it is to escape the gravity, escape
yeah.
velocity of Jupiter, sir. What a seer he was. Um, Barishwala. Good morning, sirs. Is rumored silver shortage crisis in major US banks a showstopper? Is Canada also yuan friendly?
I really won't know about the silver crisis because there is some movement happening, and I believe yesterday or day before the silver stocks fell and all that. Silver is getting more used in industrial purposes, right? So the industrial value of silver is going up. So which means the market value should be going up, but I believe it's crashed yesterday. I don't know how. There must be some manipulation on and all. I'm not too much into it.
Yeah.
But the other factor about yuan which came up, I'm forgetting that thing. What's that? If I can get that. Yeah, Canada also yuan friendly. I don't think so. Canada is going through a phase. It'll right itself. Okay, sooner than later, it'll right itself. That's my view. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. That brings us to a close of today's program. We'll be back again tomorrow. Are we on tomorrow, sir, at 9 a.m.?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, most likely we'll be here and you'll get to know the topic, and do join us. This is a little bit more intellectual discussion. General, I go back and forth. We may not see eye to eye and everything, but that provides for a richer understanding of things. I love that. Thank you so much, sir. I'll see you again tomorrow. Namaskar.